Hello, sinners. How are you? On today's installment of the Letterboard of Truth, our quote of the day is no skin allowed. Put your ankles away, ladies. You're scaring the children. Paul and Morgan. The Paul and Morgan Show. These two are well-known characters in the Fundiverse. I've mentioned them here and there in the past, but this is gonna be my first ever video dedicated to them, so congrats, guys. If you've never heard of these two lovebirds, they are a Christian fundamentalist couple with over 150,000 subscribers. A consistent theme of Paul and Morgan's channel is relationship advice with a heavy emphasis on purity culture. In fact, their most popular video is about why hugging can lead to other sinful temptations, or what I like to jokingly call the premarital sex pipeline. Not to mention, like many of their Fundy counterparts, Paul and Morgan have been accused of homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, racism, fatphobia, grifting, etc., etc. There's an entire mega thread of Paul and Morgan's problematic history that I can't possibly get into today, but I'll link that down below if you're interested in checking it out. While the message has stayed the same, the format of Paul and Morgan's videos have changed quite a bit over the years. And let me tell you, they've tried it all. From terrible reactionary videos to uncomfortable live streams about their sex life.
In the first few years of our marriage, I knew that it hit Paul way harder than it hit me. Like, I would just roll over and be like, good night.
So you knew?
Like, of course I knew.
So you were
aware?
All the way to cringy story times for children. Paul and Morgan are truly the lack of all trades. But recently, Paul and Morgan have dipped their little toesies into man-on-the-street content. So instead of just preaching their toxic rhetoric online, they've now moved on to harassing locals about kissing before marriage. So far, they've released 5 total street interviews, but today, we'll be reacting to their most recent one as of the day I'm recording. Asking strangers, should we dress modestly? Skimpy bikinis? I feel like we're constantly beating this topic to death, but what's one more video on this subject, am I right? But I'm curious to see whether people agree with Paul and Morgan or if they will receive some pushback. Something tells me that if they get owned at any point in this video, they'll probably cut it out because it'll make them look bad. If you've been around these parts, you know that I'm all about everyone exploring their own parts. But in all seriousness, self-pleasure is a beautiful thing I highly encourage everyone to try at their own pace. And with LELO DOT Cruise, you can give yourself control over your own self-pleasure. The Dot Cruise is LELO's next-generation pinpoint vibrator with never-before-seen precision that helps you finish every single time. It features a revolutionary elliptical movement that takes pleasure to new limits, offering an unparalleled sensory experience. The Dot Cruise's pinpoint shape lets you meticulously stimulate any erogenous zone using its soft and bendable tip. Using its soft and bendable tip for an exhilarating sensation. LELO's trademarked cruise control reserves 20% of its power during normal use, but don't think you can't experience its full intensity. When pressed against your body, you'll feel an intense, deep release with controlled and consistent pleasure. And with 8 different modes to experience and explore, the power is literally in your hands. This groundbreaking device is designed for those who are looking for new and exciting forms of satisfaction. So why settle for anything less than the best? So if you're looking to explore your sexuality and gain control over your own pleasure, make sure to click the link at the top of my description to try out LELO's Dot Cruise. Self-pleasure is not a contest, but with the Dot Cruise, you'll surely come in first. Anyway, thank you to LELO, as always, for empowering me and my audience to explore our desires. Now, let's get back to your scheduled programming. Before we begin, I'm going to give the disclaimer I give every time. I understand and I'm aware and I agree with the fact that Paul and Morgan do not represent the values of every single Christian in the world. When I criticize Christianity in this video, which is probably inevitable, it specifically has to do with what they're saying and the kind of Christianity they follow. So this video isn't meant to be against Christianity or any organized religion. Although I'm agnostic, I respect your right to practice. I just need to make that clear every time because I will get at least one Christian in my comments who says that I'm personally attacking them. No, I'm not personally attacking you. I'm personally attacking Paul and Morgan. That was a joke. Let's begin.
What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
I miss when they used to sing their like fun theme song at the beginning of every video. You know what I'm talking about, like the Paul and Morgan, the Paul and Morgan show. Real Paul and Morgan heads know what I'm talking about.
Should women dress modestly / should they be wearing itty bitty teeny weeny bikinis?
Women wearing bathing suits at the beach? What the f? Now we're getting a little crazy. What's next? Wearing yoga pants to the gym? They're probably against that. Let's be for real.
And shout out to our patrons. Thank you guys for supporting what we do on this channel.
There's people who pay for this Sorry, not to be rude.
We do patron-only Zoom calls, which I'll be honest, our upcoming Zoom call, there's going to be a lot to talk about, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, that's right. They were featured on that new documentary about the Duggars. Oh, that's interesting. From what I've heard, they're not happy about their little documentary feature. If you'd like a video of me talking about, what's it called? Shiny happy people? Let me know down below. I'd be open to doing it.
We have our ideas. Maybe our ideas will get challenged. Maybe we'll challenge some other people.
I will be challenging your ideas, Paul. Rest assured.
Do you consider yourselves Christians?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, very nice.
Okay, so are they Christians or are they like Christians? If you know what I'm saying. They should show more of the dog though.
So our hot topic question of the day.
Hot topic question, as if this hasn't been a source of debate on Funda YouTube since 2018.
Do you feel like women should dress modestly?
I think it depends what you mean by the word modest, you know, in what settings. It depends on the context, but generally, yes, I would agree in terms of like revealing sensitive body areas and body parts.
I think modesty can look different for every person, but I think at the root of the term modesty, it's like, where is your heart at in how you're dressing?
Obviously, if you came into work in a bikini or a Speedo, they're probably going to send you home for the day. Like, modesty is pretty subjective, and I think at the end of the day, people should wear however much or however little they want. And I don't know why this is a video topic, Paul. Just let people live their lives. Jesus Christ.
How do you feel about women wearing very revealing bikinis?
It's pool, all right? It's summertime. It's hot out. People are gonna want to wear breathable, functional things that they're not gonna sweat their cha-chas off. Of course, like I just said, everyone has different comfort levels. If someone wants to wear a one piece, that's fine. If someone wants to wear a rash guard or like one of those like bodysuits that you wear when you're surfing, that's fine too. Or if you want to wear the ittiest bittiest teeny bikini that you can find, that's great too. Wear whatever your heart desires. This video reminds me of that meme that's like, there's one person you forgot to ask consent from. Wearing a bikini to the beach? I consent. I consent. This is Paul right here. I don't. So if you dare want to wear a bikini to the beach, there's one person you forgot to ask, and that's Paul Olliges. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm so sorry. Anyway.
But also men have choice of where to look and what to see, but also it would not be respectful, ladies, I guess, towards those men.
You say it does go both ways. There's perhaps some onus on both.
Yes.
It's one thing to see a pretty girl at the beach in a bikini and like acknowledge her beauty, but then there's sexualizing someone without their consent. And by saying that women are responsible for men's temptation, you are sexualizing women without their consent. How about you take some personal responsibility and own up to your feelings instead of projecting them onto other people?
I think it's like a righteous calling to protect men, especially Christians, like our brothers in Christ. Like, if I choose to wear this, am I causing my brother in Christ to stumble?
I don't give a if he falls off a cliff. His sexual temptations are not my responsibility. I feel like I'm being harsher than normal in this video, but like this topic just annoys the out of me. It's just like, I don't know, mind your own business. What's that Bible quote that's like, you have to like stab your eyeball out if if you're like tempted or something. Here we go from Matthew chapter 5 verse 29. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. So suck on that, Paul and Morgan.
Again, it all comes down to like, what is your heart? I would say most of the time, if a woman is wearing like not like a revealing bathing suit, like I think the biggest question is to ask like, where is your relationship with Christ, and like going from there. But yeah.
Wow, you guys got more deeper than I expected. Thank you guys so much.
No, Paul, they really didn't go that deep. They're just spewing toxic talking points of purity culture.
First question is, are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Very good.
Very good. You're not one of those heathen sinners, are you? Well, you should be a sinner. Like and subscribe. I don't even know if it winked. I think I just blinked.
I don't think that we should expect non-Christians to. Obviously, as a Christian, I think that women should dress modestly.
I like that she said that, like, you shouldn't expect people who don't follow their doctrine to adhere to the same rules. I kind of respect that answer. And, you know, if you're really passionate about the Bible and Christianity and you want to adhere to those laws and rules, be my guest. Be God's guest, even. Like, that's totally fine, obviously. You know, I'm a feminist, and what I've learned about feminism is that part of it is giving women the choice. So I think if a woman wants to be modest, if she wants to wear less revealing clothing, that's fine. And I also think the opposite of that is fine. I just don't think we should shame people for wanting to adhere to certain dress codes and guidelines.
How do you feel about Christian women wearing like itty bitty teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikinis?
I think I used to be like, no, never wear a bikini. I think there are some modest bikinis out there, though. I think if your boobs and your butt are covered, then you're probably okay.
I think there are a lot of businesses and stores that sell modest swimwear. Like, one pieces have been around for forever, and I'm sure there's even more modest swimwear than that. Like I said, it's about your comfort level. It's about what you want to wear. I really hope they touch on modesty for men in this video. Like, what point are we gonna bring that up? Is that like at the halfway mark? Like, where should I look out for that?
There is the scripture talking about not causing a brother to stumble, and I know people will be like, that's the guy's responsibility if they lust, and like, that's true. I agree, it is their responsibility, but there is also something that we as women can do to show love to men, dressing modestly.
I mean, you know what I'm gonna say. It's just crazy to me that Christians like these people are saying that women are partially responsible for men stumbling or whatnot, but there are men out there who will sexualize you no matter what you wear. For example, classically Abby. She is a conservative influencer and also Ben Shapiro's little sister who has preached extensively in the past about modesty, and she lives a very modest lifestyle. She has done like modest fashion hauls, I think, on her channel, and she dresses like a conservative woman, and I don't mean that as a dig. I think she has nice style. But she's modest. And even though she preaches about modesty and how women should cover up, there are plenty of men, especially on the left, who have no problem sexualizing her. No matter what you wear, there are going to be creeps who sexualize you. And that's not really your fault or your responsibility to deal with. That is something for the men to unpack. Those men in that situation. I felt that. The allergies have been pretty bad in the Northeast.
Do you think that women should dress modestly?
Two-part answer. One, can you define modestly?
He's like, what? This is my interview. You're supposed to agree with me. Don't ask me questions. Don't question my faith.
I think that Christians should dress modestly. There's not a separation between men and women in that. That is a Christian standard, not a gender-based standard.
This guy's kind of based. I like that he said that everyone who follows Christianity should follow modesty guidelines. Not just women. That's not just a woman's problem. Everybody should dress modestly. Even you, Paul. Even you. I like that he kind of called on Paul's hypocrisy, even if he didn't intend to. And I love how Paul looks angry, like, huh? Women are supposed to cover shoulder, not man.
Totally fair. But my next question, though, does have to do more with women.
Totally fair, but... oh, he's gonna say some bullshit, isn't he?
How do you feel about Christian women wearing very revealing bikinis?
To be honest, I understand the way you're structuring it, but I think The easiest way to answer is to lay down a standard for Christians as a whole.
Oh my God. He's not tolerating any of Paul's double standards. I fucking love it.
The only blanket statement that I can make is that Christians should practice reasonable modesty. Yeah.
Chris is keeping it very, shall we say, vague.
That's not vague.
He's keeping it very safe.
That's not vague. That's not vague, Paul. He was very clear. Christians should all follow the modesty guidelines. What is it? Rules for thee and not for me now? Paul's like, no. I want to oppress women. And if they get to oppress me back, then that means we're equal. And we can't have that.
A lot of times we see Christian men speak to the modesty of women without questioning or laying focus to the modesty they themselves portray.
No hetero. I love this guy. Christian men like Paul, if you're going to set these standards for women, then you sure as better follow those same standards as well. All right? You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's either all of you or none of you.
So just, are you guys Christian?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Very curious to see if they have encountered non-Christians throughout the day or if they're just going to cut those people out because they made too much sense. Ooh, that might get me in trouble.
Should women dress modestly?
Part of me feels like if you're dressing to, make yourself happy, like, go for it. But if you're dressing to, like, get the attention of someone else, maybe that isn't modest.
So kind of like, where's your heart in when you're dressing?
Where's your heart in what you're wearing.
Yeah, if it's more for like vain reasons.
I think everyone of every gender has done that. And you could kind of argue and say that Morgan isn't dressing modest right now. I mean, she's exposing her shoulders, her clavicle, her elbow, her wrist. You're getting pretty scandalous today, Morgan. So where's your heart at? Did you ask God if you could wear that tank top? And that's not me trying to diss Morgan. I think her outfit's very cute. She should wear whatever she wants. And if we're also going to talk about other rules in Christianity, what's that thing on your left arm, Morgan? I thought tattoos were outlawed in the Bible. I thought you couldn't mix fabrics. What do I know? I'm just a heathen, little sinner, Satanist over here. A little lesbian going to hell when the time comes.
How do you all feel about the itsy bitsy teeny weeny bikinis that women wear?
I personally don't rock that. I just don't feel comfortable. But, to some degree, to each their own. And what's their reason for dressing like that?
I agree. To each their own. I don't know if I agree with the where your heart's at that they're pushing. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's really that deep. I don't think most women, before they go to the beach in the morning, they're like, which bikini of mine is gonna tempt the most men? How many men am I gonna make stumble today at the pool?
I don't get bothered by it personally, but if I had a kid, would I want my kid to see that or dress like that? No. And I don't personally choose to, so.
That's just what to expect when you go to the pool or to the beach. That's like the time to wear a bathing suit. And what about men wearing those itty bitty tiny swim trunks that they like to wear? Are you gonna want them not to see that as well? Or is it just women? Not to attack them. I agree with them to some extent, and I don't think they're the worst people in this video or in general. I think they're pretty reasonable. Just wondering where she draws that line, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like as Christian women, we should be encouraging other Christian women to just check your heart as far as clothes, bathing suits, etc. go, or do you feel like we should just kind of let them do their own thing?
We've been friends for forever, and I'd hope she would, put me in place, and I'd do the same with her.
That's cool.
Imagine pulling your friend aside and being like, hey, Jessica, I just don't want you to make our brothers in Christ stumble because you're deciding to be a little and dress in an itty bitty teeny weedy yellow polka dot bikini. So go change, you you harlot.
I think there's a fine line too between I can tell you, no, girl, don't wear that. But if I wouldn't tell someone else that, and I think that there's a fine line between being watching out for your friends and checking someone's heart and being judgmental. I don't ever want to be a judgmental Christian,
Again, I don't 100% agree with her, but I appreciate how she acknowledged that she wouldn't judge strangers about that. Most normal Christians just mind their business and do their thing. They're not out here running up to everyone in a park and asking, hey, should women wear bikinis? Come on.
I like the idea of just holding one another accountable. I think as friends, just being like, hey, where's your heart in this? I think that's a great thing to have.
Okay, Morgan, where was your heart when you got your tattoo on your left arm? Again, I thought that was not allowed in Christianity. Please tell us, you sinner.
Do you consider yourself a Christian?
I do.
Should women dress modestly?
Modesty is very welcoming. Not to say that like, you have to wear like a robe. Do it out of respect for you, for God.
I don't really understand this notion of being modest equals self-respect. Because like you can wear a bikini and still respect yourself. You just want to wear a bikini to the beach because it's hot out. And even then, you don't need an explanation as to why you want to wear a bikini. Men don't need an explanation as to why they want to wear short swim trunks or Speedo. Like people don't owe you reason as to why they do the things they do. I think you need to poke your nose out of people's business, Paulie and Morgan.
I'm here with my grandma, Nana. Say hi, Nana, to YouTube.
She seems very sweet. I hope she doesn't say some bullshit.
Should women dress modestly?
I think it's disgusting to see them not dressed modestly.
Grandma! Nana! So you think it's disgusting if I do this? Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to distract you. Or if I show like a little... Oh my god, I'm gonna get demonetized. That's the kind of stuff you save for a different website.
What about the young ladies that say, well, this is my body, and if I wear really immodest, revealing stuff, it makes me feel good? What do you think about that?
That's not controversial or problematic. It is her body. It is her choice what she wears and what she does with it. I don't understand why that's an issue. I'm like lost here. Why is that a bad thing? Isn't that what we all want for others? Have people express themselves in a way that makes them comfortable?
Stay in your backyard.
Paul, stop with the soy face! Jump scare! Stay in your backyard? Really though? Nana. So if you don't dress the way I like, don't leave your house, is essentially what she's saying. Don't leave your property because I don't like your bikini.
How do you feel about when we go to the pool, because you and I were up at the pool a little bit ago, and when you see women that are dressing in very, shall we say, skimpy bikinis? What do you think about that?
I mean, Paul, why are you looking at other women so much? Don't you have a wife? Should we go back to that Matthew verse that we read before? I don't know.
My tendency would be to tell their mother, take them home and teach them how to dress. You know, something like that.
What the fuck, Nana? What the hell was that? Bring back the girls from before. They seem decent. I get it. She's older. She comes from a different time. Not that that's an excuse, but she lived in a time period for a while that, you know, where modesty was preached, where women were more submissive. So, like, I kind of get why she has the viewpoint. I just don't agree with it. I see that Paul gets it from somewhere.
I don't see that I feel repulsed or anything. You know, it's a swimming pool.
But like she just said before that it's disgusting.
I think it's disgusting to see them not dressed modestly.
So is it disgusting or are you not repulsed by it? I'm getting two different messages, Nana.
No, I mean, I don't want you running around half-dressed.
Wise words from grandmother Nana.
I guess I don't understand why the actions of a stranger bother them so much. And I know I'm one to say that because I'm reacting to a stranger's video. However, I would argue that they're spewing toxic rhetoric revolving around purity culture and again, women being responsible for men's impure thoughts or whatnot. They act like it's coming from a good place because it's what God said and they don't want to see other Christians fumble. But like the way that they're saying it doesn't sound like they're doing it, you know, out of the goodness of their heart to help a fellow Christian, to help a fellow human. It comes off like they have a superiority complex and they want to feel better than someone else who might not be a Christian. And even if they are a Christian, they want to have that little power trip of, oh, hey, she's dressing like a slut. I'm a better Christian than them. I hate this. I really fucking hate this.
I was just telling Morgan, our haters are going to watch this video. Our like super pro women just go crazy with your dressing. They're going to watch this and be like, what in the world was that about? Everyone was Christian and for modesty.
All right, so since I'm one of the haters who is watching the video right now, I might as well embrace the part. What in the world was that about? Everyone was Christian for modesty and... All right. Was that good enough for you, Paul? Did I get the part?
Overall, though, Morgan, I was just like really impressed and encouraged. And, you know, somebody can give an answer and then suddenly like we see them at the pool and they're dressed in what they're saying they wouldn't dress in. But overall...
You know, Morgan, I'm really impressed that there are other Christians who will silently slut shame women at the pool. It's just really touching to me.
Modesty is something hard for me to talk about because I know that it's so gray in some ways.
Right. It's yep. Took the words right out of my mouth. Again, put that shoulder away, Morgan.
Guys, comment below. What were your thoughts on this video? Were you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised because you have proven time and time again that you are very judgmental people. So I'm not surprised that you think this way.
When it comes to, I guess, ladies in particular, when you're deciding what you're going to wear to the pool or to the beach, how do you make that decision? What is modest and what is a no-no?
Whenever I'm getting ready to go to the pool or to the beach or to harass strangers at a park, I want to make sure that I am not causing trouble for my brothers in Christ. And you know, I always tell my girlfriend, I want to find a good Christian man. I want to find a man who is... I can't even fake that. I can't even fake that. I'm sorry. Bit's over.
There's a couple Bible verses, but the Apostle Paul hits at make sure that your adorning is what's on the inside rather than trying to bring all this focus and attention to what's on the outside.
And again, that's all fine and dandy. Just because that's something you follow, that's something you believe, you shouldn't hold other people to that same standard. Like that one Christian girl said, like she's not going to go up to random people and tell them if they're dressing immodest or not.
In today's day and age, what is the big focus of 2023 America?
It's like Kim Kardashian.
It's the sexualization. And so you see these women at the gym or at the pool, look at me and how sexual I am in the way I'm dressing.
That is the meaning you're assigning to it. Because by itself, that's like a pretty neutral action. Not good, not bad. That just, it is what it is. That's the thing that people do at the beach. You are assigning that sexual meaning to what the woman is wearing. Those are your thoughts that you're holding her responsible for. And that's not okay.
I mean, yes, it is. It's a two-way street. Obviously, everything is, you know, you don't want to just isolate one of the sexes, but this, let's just be real.
But let's be real, all right? These harlots need to cover themselves up. That's not my fault that I think she's sexy.
If you are wanting to show off your body, if you are constantly seeking affirmation and confirmation that you're a beautiful woman because you're showing off those boobs, you're showing off that booty that you worked hard for at the gym.
I mean, people are allowed to be proud of how they look, and they're not always necessarily doing it for other people's attention. And I know this is crazy. You know, they could be doing it for their own personal validation. Like, believe it or not, some people do things or wear things because it makes them happy, not because it makes other people feel a certain way. I know that's nuts to think about, but it's true.
Be a beautiful woman that shows discretion.
Yes.
Like, how beautiful is that? She is confident, she knows her worth, and she dresses pretty with discretion, not feeling like she has to show everything and get validation because of how little clothing she's wearing.
What do you mean with discretion? I don't know, someone can dress pretty and with discretion while being immodest in your eyes. I don't know, there's no rhyme or reason to these people's thinking. They just want to oppress women. That's really the end all be all of it. They want women to be submissive and cater to the male gaze and what the men want and not think for themselves. And if they start dressing for themselves and doing things for themselves, then they're harder to control, and that's bad. Women need to be oppressed, right? All right. I think we've had enough of Paul and Morgan shenanigans here. I still stick by what I said. I think this is just a really stupid argument that we keep having online and in general about women dressing modest or not. And I know I'm doing the exact same thing with this video, but yeah. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think of Paul and Morgan's new street interview era. And if you'd like me to react to any more Paul and Morgan videos in the future, please let me know. And again, because I know I'm going to get at least 1 or 2 stubborn Christians in my comments, believe what you want to believe. That's fine. I support your right to practice your religion. These people are just jerks, and I want to debunk their points. This isn't an attack on you, I promise. If you'd like me to look at any other fundy creators or revisit any fundy creators I've talked about in the past, please let me know down below. And in general, if there's anything in particular you'd like me to talk about, I have a Google form linked in the description where you could submit your video ideas. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a tiny, tiny thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you again to LELO for sponsoring today's video. I love you guys, and I'll see you harlots with a brand new video very soon. Bye!